Betty Stobs, a 67-year-old resident of Stanhope, Co-Durham, enjoyed a serene and idyllic life alongside her husband. Her daily routine revolved around the care of her 60 sheep, all accompanied by her loyal sheepdog. Unfortunately, one day these normally patient animals couldn't contain their hunger for the delectable hay they were accustomed to. On that fateful day, Betty rode her quad bike with a stack of hay securely fastened to its rear, but the hungry sheep, driven by their impatience, surged forward, pushing her off an 100-foot cliff. Remarkably, Betty survived the fall with her dog by her side. However, the quad bike, weighing around 405 pounds, came crashing down on her, resulting in her immediate demise. Her dog, however, thankfully still alive, was found guarding her lifeless body. Greg Austin Gingrich, a 38-year-old man with a penchant for humour and a love of playing pranks, embarked on a trip to the Grand Canyon with his teenage daughter. On that fateful day, as they made their way to the awe-inspiring canyon, Greg couldn't resist his mischievous side. With a mischievous grin, Greg leaped onto the guardrail, windmilling his arms, playfully acting as if he was losing his balance, hoping to give his daughter a good scare. As part of his comedic act, he even pretended to topple over the edge, thinking he'd land safely on the short slope just below. Unbeknownst to him, his daughter, accustomed to her father's playful antics, continued walking, ignoring the prank. Tragically, Greg's footing failed him, and he silently plummeted about 400 feet into the vast void of the Grand Canyon. It would take rangers a considerable amount of time to locate his lifeless body and determine that his daughter had lost her father on that ill-fated day. Clement Vallandigham's death occurred in a highly unusual and tragic manner. On the night of June the 17th, 1871, Vallandigham was in Lebanon, Ohio, working as an attorney. He was representing a client accused of murder, and during the course of preparing his case, he decided to demonstrate how the victim might have accidentally shot himself. To illustrate his point, Vallandigham reportedly placed a loaded pistol in his pocket, believing it to be unloaded, and attempted to draw it from the pocket in a way that would mimic the scenario he was presenting in court. However, as he drew the pistol from his pocket, it discharged and the bullet struck him in the abdomen. Vallandigham was seriously wounded and medical assistance was quickly summoned. Despite the efforts to save his life, he died the following day, on June the 18th, 1871, at the age of 50. Frank Hayes, born in 1901, etched his name into racing history on June the 4th, 1923, at Belmont Park Racetrack in Elmont, New York. At just 22 years old, Hayes had never tasted victory in the world of horse racing. Professionally, he was not a jockey but rather a horse trainer and stableman. The horse that carried him on to his unforgettable win was an unexpected 20-1 outsider named Sweet Kiss. Tragically, Hayes succumbed to his heart attack during the race, yet his lifeless body remained in the saddle as Sweet Kiss valiantly crossed the finish line, securing victory by a mere head. This extraordinary achievement cemented his legacy as the first and only jockey to have won a race after death. The shocking news of Hayes' passing came to light when only Miss Frayling and the race officials arrived to offer their congratulations. Speculation arose that the strenuous efforts to meet the weight requirements may have triggered his fatal heart attack, as reports surfaced of his rapid weight loss, slimming down from 142 pounds 64 kg to a mere 130 pounds 59 kg in a remarkably short span. In the light of Hayes' tragic fate, all customary post-race procedures were waived by the Jockey Club, with the results being officially declared without the traditional weighing-in process. 3 days later, Hayes was laid to rest, dressed in racing silks at the Holy Cross Cemetery in Brooklyn, New York City. Sweet Kiss retired from racing, and people affectionately referred to her as Sweet Kiss of Death for the rest of her life. In the quaint town of Betterton, Maryland, a remarkable leader named Monica Meyer, aged 70, assumed the role of mayor. Mayor Meyer had a unique and heartwarming tradition. She made it her custom to immerse herself in the daily lives of the town's common folk. extending a helping hand where least expected. Her actions defined her as an official who genuinely cared about the people she served. Mayor Meyer's vivacious willingness to engage directly with the community set her apart. Among her many notable endeavours, one stood out. She ventured down to Betterton sewage treatment plant, a place where few would willingly tread, to assist in the arduous task of cleaning the waste tanks. What made her actions even more admirable was the fact that she sometimes chose to go alone, demonstrating a level of dedication that was truly remarkable. However, it was on one fateful day, March the 20th, 1980, that her unwavering commitment to her town would lead to an unforeseeable tragedy. While dutifully tending to the sewage tanks, Mayor Meyer's determination inadvertently led her down a treacherous path. As she worked diligently in the unenviable environment, fate took a cruel turn. In a horrifying accident, she lost her footing and, to the shock of those nearby, fell directly into a vat of sewage. The putrid dark mass swallowed her whole, and Mayor Meyer found herself submerged in a sea of repugnant human filth. It was a nightmarish scenario that no one could have foreseen. The town, gripped by shock and sorrow, mourned the loss of their beloved mayor. James William Heselden, OBE, also known by the name Jimmy, was born on the 27th of March 1948. He was an English entrepreneur who made headlines when he acquired the Segway company on Christmas Day in 2009. Segways are self-balancing personal transportation devices that gained popularity for their unique and futuristic design. They use gyroscopic technology to maintain balance and are often used for short-distance commuting and guided tours in urban areas. Tragically, only 9 months into his ownership, Heselden met an untimely end while using a Segway. On the fateful morning of September the 26th, 2010, Heselden was travelling the terrain with his Segway while walking his dog near Thorpe Arch. In an attempt to make way for a fellow dog walker, he reversed the Segway, inadvertently plummeting off a nearby cliff into the River Wharfe. A Segway was later discovered in the water. The coroner's investigation determined that Heselden had succumbed to multiple blunt force injuries of the chest and spine, consistent with a fall while operating a gyro bike, shedding light on the tragic circumstances surrounding his passing. Robert Williams was a factory worker in a highly automated manufacturing facility that produced automotive parts. The factory had recently introduced a cutting-edge robotic system designed to increase efficiency and productivity. These robots were equipped with advanced sensors and programming to ensure the safety around human workers. One fateful day, a catastrophic failure in the robot's programming occurred. As Williams worked alongside the robot, a glitch in its sensors caused it to misinterpret its surroundings. In a horrifying turn of events, the robot's arm swung unexpectedly, striking Williams with a force that rendered him unconscious. Despite immediate medical attention, Williams never regained consciousness, succumbing to his injuries. The tragic incident marked a grim milestone in the relationship between humans and automation. Joël de Souza's tragic demise in 2013 is a bizarre and unfortunate story that unfolded in a small town of Caratinga, Brazil. One fateful night, Joël retired to his bed, seemingly unaware of the strange turn of events that would soon unfold. Unbeknownst to him, a cow had somehow managed to clamber onto the roof of his modest home. The reason for the cow's particular rooftop sojourn remains a mystery, but it was a convergence of improbable circumstances that led to this particular and ultimately tragic incident. As Joël lay peacefully asleep in his bed, the unexpected occurred. The cow, presumably gazing on the lush vegetation that covered the rooftop, lost its footing and succumbed to its weight, causing it to crash through the fragile structure. The enormous animal plummeted from the roof, landing directly on Joël de Souza with a devastating impact. The weight and the force of the falling cow inflicted fatal injuries upon Joel, tragically ending his life while he slept. The incident left the local community in shock and disbelief, as it was a truly extraordinary and unforeseeable accident that resulted in a human fatality. On the night of October the 26th, 2001, deep within the heart of Fort Worth, Texas, at the center of this grim narrative stood Shante Joanne Mallard, a 25-year-old nursing assistant, harboring a horrific secret. Her victim, Gregory Glenn Biggs, had navigated a life marred with formidable challenges. Despite wrestling with the burdens of mental health issues, he had carved out a respectable existence as a dedicated father and a diligent mason in the construction trade. Nevertheless, at the time of his dire incident, Biggs had fallen into an abyss of homelessness, a circumstance his family believed he could eventually transcend. On the night in question, the course of Mallard's life took a ghastly turn. Behind the wheel of her Chevrolet Cavalier, she collided with Gregory Glenn Biggs while in a state of intoxication, fueled by a combination of marijuana, ecstasy, and alcohol. The crash was so powerful that it threw Biggs through the car's windshield, trapping him in a horrifying scene of pain. Instead of seeking aid or summoning the authorities, Mallard made a chilling decision. She returned to her residence, leaving the gravely injured Biggs trapped in her windshield, and concealed her vehicle within the confines of her garage. Even more sickening was the realization that she, a nursing assistant with the capacity to provide medical assistance, opted not to help. In the airy days that ensued, Mallard revisited her garage to monitor the condition of the man she had left in that nightmarish situation. Tragically, Gregory Glenn Biggs succumbed to his grievous injuries a day or two later, still stuck within the windshield of Mallard's car, concealed within her garage. Desperate to obliterate any trace of her heinous crime, Mallard enlisted the assistance of a male acquaintance named Cleet Jackson. Alongside Jackson's cousin, Herbert Tyrone Cleveland, they embarked on a grotesque mission to dispose of Biggs' remains. They abandoned him in a desolate park, resorting to an abhorrent act of setting fire to a portion of the car in a futile bid to obscure the malevolent deeds. All three were eventually convicted on charges of tampering with evidence and their sinister actions.